Hello, welcome back to the workbench. We have got the MN82 on the bench today. We're going to do a big upgrade on it. I'm going to convert the leaf springs, which I know is a feature that I liked, and that's why I bought it, but I want to give it a try with trailing arms. I found this great trailing arm online and printed it out. We'll give it a try. I'll have a link down at the bottom to this should you want to convert yours as well. I've purchased some shocks. I have some shorter shocks for the back and longer shocks for the front, so I'll have that to do. You would not need to take the body off in order to do this work. I'm going to try to make it a little bit clearer for you in the video, but you don't need to take the body off. If you do want to take the body off, you've got screws here, here, and two up here. I believe that's it. If there's more, I'll let you know. I think there might be two back here, so there may be 6 altogether. I don't remember, but let's start with doing that. We'll get the wheels off, and then we'll get started. Go. Looks like there are 2 more screws to take out, which I would think would be these 2. Let's see. Yes. Alright, and we will disconnect power. Power goes to the red plug. The lights go to the plug next to power. And that's a job I want to clean up, so we'll do that too while we're at it. You can see I already have some metal shocks on there. I mistakenly purchased those without reading the description. Shame on me, but these do not have any seals in them whatsoever to keep the oil inside. So bad shocks. Started on the back, but that's okay. All right, so to remove the springs and the you have to do these 4 screws. There's 2 screws on this side, 2 on this side, and then here and here. You got to take all of those out. And there are 3 different kinds of screws. These guys are longer ones and threaded all the way. That is a spacer. You're going to need 2 of those. And then these 8 screws here. Those screws are longer. Underneath the 2 outside screws is a little horseshoe piece that holds it together. There are springs. The shock is really not in with a screw. It is just friction fit in there with this little ball. It is held in with a screw on the top or bottom though, so on the other end there is a screw for that. Alright, for those of you wondering at home how big these rear shocks are, they are 54 millimeters outside to outside, and center to center is roughly 48 millimeters. All right, back to this. I now have a axle that is free to float, go wherever it wants to go. And now we have our new trailing arms. Now the trailing arms, I've pre-drilled this part out right here with a 4mm drill on both sides. That is the size of these spacers, because you're going to have to put the spacers inside of here, and you'll need 4mm in order to get those in nicely. My 3D printer printed it very tightly, so it was hard to get in. Also, when you print these trailing arms, you have to scale them up by 10 because they're drawn in centimeters instead of millimeters. Alright, I'm going to push the spacers all the way towards where they go to the inside of this side. So, there and there. These are going to go in like so. Are they? Yeah, like this. So these two holes correspond to the holes that are here in the axle. These two holes correspond to the little U thing, or horseshoe, or whatever this thing is called. It corresponds to that. So, let's see, to get this done easily, can I guess I could remove this. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. This out of the way. And then the horseshoe goes like that. And this one goes here. We're going to use the same screws for this. That we got off the model. So I'm going to just do this part first. This hole right here, that is for the shock. If you are not getting new shocks, you will have to find a screw for that. And if you're like me and do a lot of modifications, you're going to have a lot of extra screws laying around. If not, I've got a link in the bottom for a good screw kit. Alright, I got that done. If you have bearings and are going to do that upgrade, it's a good time to do that. I do not, so it's not a good time. Those can go into the top or bottommost holes. Top if it's upside down, bottom if it's right side up. And those are the long screws. And in fact, you could probably, can you use these? You might be able to use these long screws because you're going to have extras for the shocks. If you're not upgrading your shocks. Okay, oh look at that. Boy, howdy, that goes way down far, doesn't it? Loosen it a little bit. Oh yeah, that's better. Yay. Alright, let's put the shocks on here now. I have two different shocks that I bought. I bought some short ones and some long ones. Unfortunately, they're two different sizes in this model. So I'm going to have two extra shocks. That's alright. I'll use them somewhere. If you have a friend with one of these, go in with them. Let's see how these compare. These are a little bit longer, but I'm going to let them droop a little bit. How are they when they're compressed? They are a little longer when it's compressed. Okay. So worst case is we will have to either design something to go down here, make them go longer, or we'll edit this model to move the holes up a little higher. That might be the better idea. But we'll find out. I'm not going to replace the springs yet. This came with a bunch of screws and stuff, so that's kind of cool. I think they're going to be too long for that. So this goes into here. Well, first you put in a O-ring to go to the back. Okay. Then you put another O-ring on, and that holds it together. And it keeps the dirt out. Or not all the dirt, but some of the dirt. There we go. Nice. Same at the top. So there's two different kinds of these little guys. One of them has a lip, and one of them does not have a lip. The one with the lip looks to be a smaller little circle. The one without the lip has a larger circle. So you cannot put the larger one, the one without the lip, into the top, which is aluminum. But you can put the one with the lip into the top. That. Do that. And then that. Okay, good. So that's that. If there are two places to check for oil on your shocks, you should always check the top first, not the bottom. Why? Superstition. And that's just easier to fill it from the top. Yes, these need shock oil. I'm going to use 20 weight shock oil because this is a light car. If this were a heavy car, I'd use 30 weight. What's the difference? 30 weight is thicker, and it will make the rebound of the shock slower. You sure we don't have any bubbles in there? We do not. If we do have bubbles, might as well just drain it out and refill it. Have it loose. Oh. Down. Okay. And then I'll move this all the way up. Then I'm going to need to wipe this down again because I made a mess. Once you make big messes, cut your little blue towels down to something small, then you have a bunch of them. They will last you for a long time. And get it started without the shock first. There we go. Alright. Those holes are now threaded for this machine screw. Do it so that the larger part of this brass piece is towards the shock arm here, or towards the drilling arm. I'm going to screw this into the hole here to get it threaded. These are M 2.5 screws, by the way. And they're the ones that came with the shocks. we go. That was easier. If you strip that out, you can use the old Gorilla Glue trick. You get the traditional brown Gorilla Glue with a toothpick, and you line the hole with the glue so that it's just lining, not filling the hole, but lining the hole. Let it dry overnight, and your hole will be back to something the screw will bite into. Alright, there it is with the shocks. Let's see how it... Not real great. I think the shocks are... I think they need to be moved out this way more in the back. Let's try that. So I've got some more screws. And I have a spacer. And you'll have a spacer too. It's the spacers from the shocks. Loosen the shocks up a little bit, let some oil out. Maybe they're too full. Better. I still have too much oil in it now. Nice. They are staying down in the back, and that's okay because I can adjust the spring rate. Alright, let's put the body. Well, let's do these front shocks while we're here. Let's see how big those are. This, you have to take the front wheels off to do the front shocks. Let's take a look at these shocks that I bought here. They could work. They could work. What is the center to center on that? $54. $55mm center to center. Yeah. 55, 56. What do we got? Oh yeah, see how much shorter these are? That's why I bought two. So I gotta get the other shocks. Okay, let's clean up my mess. We'll be right back. Alright, let's do the front shocks. If you haven't seen my video on how to install these front shocks, I think I did some modifications. I don't remember. Yeah, I did do some modifications because I have this top piece up here. Make sure you watch that video. I'll have it a link somewhere. And these shocks were just horrible. They have no seals in them whatsoever to hold in the juicy goodness that is shock oil. Doesn't look like I modified them at all. They just fit right over the top. Okay. This one up here. How do I want to do that? I think I'm going to just cut them and let's see what happens. It's the worst that can happen. I have to 3D print that and recreate it. Yeah, that's the worst that can happen. Alright. There goes nothing. Let's see if I can hit that. Alright. So those are cut out. Now what I want to do is I want to clean that out a little bit with this. Okay. Does a 2.5 mil screw fit in there well? Yes, it's threading in. Look at that. That is great. Let's get the other side done. Okay. Let's put some oil on the shocks. Get screwed up. And short screw. Nice. Wheels back on there. Close the shock screw, that's okay. Alright. I need some more. Alright, I want to make sure these sits nice. This halfway down, otherwise I have to change the springs. Yeah, maybe not. Who knows? Alright, let's get this body back on there. But first, I want to make this more better. So let me plan that a little bit, and then we'll come back and we will make this more better. I cleaned up my wiring mess a little bit here. I was able to get the wires to run through here, and then there are some tabs here that you can stick the wires in. I put some hot glue right there to hold that. Bondec would have worked as well. And then I bent these two down a little bit. These two little tabs, these little wires that go to the LEDs. That way I could get some more slack to put that through there. And that seems to make it much nicer. So let's get the frame back on there. I also determined that these 4 screws here, take out this piece. You don't need to undo those 4 screws in order to take the body off. So let's connect our wires and then we'll put it together. So this is the lights. These go in the white one next to the red one. If you had the Way Cool Light kit, it would plug into that larger plug there. I do not, which is fine. I don't want it because I don't like the blinkers. So these tabs, let me explain this a little bit here in the back. We have these tabs here in the back. The frame goes around the outside of the tabs, not on the inside of these little pieces here. And that front looks good. Let's get this screwed up, see how it looks. So there are just 6 screws. Okay, all the screws are the same for the bottom. There are 2 here, there are 2 here, and there are 2 here. Wow, that's not bad. Oh yeah, that works pretty well. We will see how it works out on the... So yeah, that works pretty well. Got some good clearance on that. We'll see how the articulation goes here in the bench test. So let's get a battery charged and get the bench test going. Alright, here we can see we are giving it a try on the old test bench here with the new rocks. And the rear is not flexing whatsoever. Those designs of those trailing arms just doesn't give it any flex whatsoever. So new design is coming. We'll get something figured out. Oh, little tricky spot there. Right again. There we go. Now let's try the old drop test. And no bounce, so those shocks are very nice. Yeah, see, we're not getting any flex on that rear end whatsoever. The front end seems to be flexing just like it was, but the rear end is not. See all those back tires are just staying straight. Now these shocks would work with the old springs, so you could give those a try. But overall, I'm happy with the shocks. I'm not so happy with the trailing arms, but that's okay. That's what designing new trailing arms are all about in 3D printing. So we'll come up with a new design on that. I found a 3D printed frame to give a try. That will make the links work, so I'm going to give that a shot too. Stay tuned for that. I don't know if the trailing arms would have helped if we had real flex on that last fall or not, but we'll find out. Alright, well thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're interested in the shocks, I have a link to them from Amazon in the description below. And thanks for watching. Make sure you have a great day and happy crawling.